1 foot of snow fell yesterday. Everything is white. So it's a good chance to come out and try to learn how to shoot really cool video and really cool B-roll in all white snowy conditions. See what we can do. One of the things that I've learned trying to shoot in the snow is there's just so much light. No matter what you do, there's light coming from everywhere. It's bouncing off the snow, bouncing off the trees, coming from the sky, even when it's overcast like today and everything is white. I have to find a way to really get rid of some of that exposure and some of that light that's coming into the camera. I always set that zebra setting that I'm going to show you guys on the camera if it has it, because it allows me to quickly, specifically when cool shots come, if snow's falling off the tree, you got to just fire the camera on. I use the zebra setting to very quickly set the manual exposure and the f-stop of the lens that I'm using. Today I'm using the G Master 1.4 24mm on the Sony A7R III. I brought it this weekend just to test out. I knew it was going to snow and I just want to experiment, create and correct, and see the coolest shots that we can make. I'm going to go through this in this vlog. I'm going to take a whole bunch of shots. We're going to do a B-roll sequence, and then I'm going to go through a couple more tips on how I edit those sequences for winter. And again, I'm just testing things out. I am not a professional videographer, but I really like finding ways to make new content and understanding the equipment better so that we can all make better content. So create and correct today, come up with as much shots as possible, and then put together a sick B-roll sequence. Let's go. I just dropped the GoPro into the snow for a transition. Don't know if that's going to work out. I definitely got to get myself a pair of boots because my feet are cold. Now, one of the things about winter and B-roll in winter that I think has to happen is I like it to be cold footage. I like it to be slow. I like it to be calm. I find that winter is just, it's surreal. And I don't like doing flashy transitions with the snow B-roll that I do. So you'll see that today when I start putting it together. But at the same time, there's no right or wrong. You do you. Whatever you're doing, create and correct. And if you find a way to create some snow B-roll, some winter B-roll that's fast-paced, then I'm sure that'll work too. But for me today, we're gonna keep it slow, surreal. We got the camera set to 120 frames per second. We're getting that slow butter B-roll. We have the shutter speed on 250. Sometimes I change it to 320 in winter to try to get rid of some of that light. If I want a crisp shot, specifically if snow's falling, it helps me capture some of that. But again, you have to play with that. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to do it. It's just something I've been doing today, and it seems to be working. I still love using GoPros. I know a lot of people get away from it and just get into the 4K DSLR. Really handy when you want to optimize your time. I find that I can just leave it here, get the time lapse, and then go out without having to have multiple cameras. If you're just getting into it and you don't have multiple DSLR 4K cameras that you can use to get really good shots, GoPros are a great way to supplement doing these vlogs or making content for whatever brand you're a part of. This is not paid for by GoPro. I am not sponsored by GoPro, but I just find they're really easy. And it's worth having one or two in your equipment list for 2020 and beyond. Another thing about taking video in winter is it's not like photos. You don't get Lightroom, you don't get dehaze, you can't fix everything with the exposure. You can color correct a lot in Adobe Premiere, but you can't color correct everything. So you have to try to get the shots you want. You need the definition. And if you overexpose your shots, you're gonna have a really hard time. You're gonna lose a lot of that valuable video data. That's not gonna let you to edit it the way you want it to. I'm saying that tip because I've made that mistake once or twice. I'm back. It's 48 hours later. I took about 48 hours to put this sequence as well as this vlog together. It took me a little longer than expected. But I want to go through two main things that I did in the editing process that might give you guys a couple tips when putting together these winter B-roll sequences. First of all, I used a Peter McKinnon LUT on this one, but you can create the LUT yourself or you can use the color grading yourself. I used his LUT called Arctic Circle. I'll put some links below so that you guys can find it. As you can see here, I have it set between 50 and 70% opacity on the adjustment layer, and without the LUT, here's what it looks like. Now with the LUT, look at how it cools down the footage. It makes it look colder, and that's really cool. That's something that I learned to play with and create and correct with in order to create a different feel in the footage, depending on where the music is or where you're going within that video sequence. The other thing that's really interesting that I tried to do, I said it outside earlier, is I tried to keep all the transitions really slow. So what that means for me is I tried to make the transitions, I just put an adjustment layer with a directional blur on a couple of them. I tried a couple slower pans, handheld, to create some of those transitions. And what it did for me is it just allowed for it to match the music and the cold feel of the footage. Now, again, that might not work for you. You might have a different style, and there is no wrong way to do it. But for me on this one, I wanted it to be slow. I wanted it to have that impact with each shot, showing off just how beautiful and majestic winter is in Canada and throughout the world. I got a couple of those shots of like the ice crystals, some of those macro shots, as well as some of the wide shots of just the winter landscape, and together I think they blend well in creating that just majestic effect. Now, I don't want to take this too much farther. I want to show you guys the B-roll sequence. The B-roll sequence itself was a little longer than I expected. It's not my best work, but I still think it shows off that beauty, shows off that really cold feel of winter footage. And take a look, let me know in the comments below what you think. I'm really interested to do more of these in the different seasons. If you like this video, just let me know, and I will try to make more just like this. And again, enjoy. It's about 1.5 minutes long, and I think you'll get a lot of value out of it.